What is good, my DDD fam? It's Drip back with another video. In today's video, I'm going to have a combo tutorial on the Virtual World deck profile I recently profiled. I'm going to show you basically kind of how two different Virtual World names, whether it's Monster Spell or Trap, can get you to the full combo. Now, with this, I'm not going to really probably show how you play around things. I just mainly want to show you how you can get to your end spot, the basically the god board that this deck can get to with kind of different names and a discard basically. So this combo is basically like a 2 to 3 card combo. Basically you need 2 names and a discard to get you there. But let's go ahead and start this out. I won't hold you any long because sometimes these videos can be kind of long. To start out, you're going to go your Kowloon. Kowloon would get your Chuche. Let me get this out of the way. Chuche. Now you got that engraved. And this is all you're going first, by the way. You're going to use your let me zoom out a little bit. Use your Lulu target your Chuche. It's a trap, so you got to send something else that's not a trap to that's not a trap. So basically, we're going to send a spell. Since we send a spell, the standard virtual world stuff is you send one and you add the other with Lulu, because Lulu's the Rhoda. So we're going to send, since we target a trap, we send a spell. Now we get to add a monster after we summon. So we summon her. This is where we go and get the Lily, which is the double foolish. So now we got the Lily. Now we want to get traps in graveyard. So you're going to use Lily, target the Lulu. Since we target a monster, we got to, because this Lily's the double foolish. So Lulu's the add. This is a double foolish. It sends two. You can send one, but you can send two as well. So this one we're going to send, since we target a monster, we cannot send a monster. We have to send a spell or a trap. So we're going to send our monster reborn. Basically, if they Nibiru us, you hold this until the last second. So now we sent that. We're going to double foolish gnome. So the other one we're going to send, since we send a trap, we can no longer send a trap. We can't send a monster because we targeted a monster. So we can send a spell though. And what we're going to send is another King Wong. 1 to play around DD Crow. 2 to have our follow-up. That means Lily's technically indirectly providing our follow-up, because we're going to burn one here in a second if it doesn't get DD Crowed, of course. And then we have one in the grave for a follow-up. So now this is where you can start your extension. You go King Wong to search. In this situation, you have 2 options. You have not normal summoned yet, so you can search your normal summon, whether it be in Tutu or Nian Yan, or you can search another monster that could potentially add a follow up. In this case, what I would do is I would add GG. Okay, GG. Since we don't have desires, Nian Yan is not really like, it's like you need it, but you don't need it, if that makes sense. So I would grab GG. Now you can use GG target, because we're going to need to get a trap engraved. Because basically the rotation you want to get is, if you don't already know, is Chuche on field, Jungwoo engrave, and a Chuche engrave. So now we need a Chuche engrave. So now we're going to use GG. The GG is just a foolish, and what its special effect is, it adds back during the end phase. So this is add, double foolish, and add back during end phase. So GG, target the Lulu or the Lily if you want to. And now we're going to foolish our Chuche. Alright, our Chuche is in the grave. So now we're basically, honestly, all set up. We really are. Now you don't really need to do nothing with your graveyard. Now you can just start your synchro plays. Your synchro, your Lulu, and your GG. This is where you make your charge warrior. I'm going to make whatever card we add random, because it doesn't matter. I'm just going to make sure it's nothing that like we need. So we drew one. This is our hand. We have 2 cards in our hand. Extra. 2 extra. Well, we drew one, so we have 1 extra. Okay. Now, what we can do is we go Lily, because you don't want to commit any extra stuff to the board, because you already have a name if you need to do anything else. So you go here, you go into Beatrice. I'll try to slide this up a little bit. Sorry if you can see my actual table. I apologize. Go into Beatrice. Always put your name back in the grave. So put your, always want to put your name back in the grave. This is where you foolish anything. If you needed to send a King Wong or whatever else, that's fine. But what we're going to send is we're going to send a Water Enchantress to get this engine running. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to banish our Water Enchantress. Because at this point, if they nib you, you're fine because your graveyard is full. You're basically just baiting for hand traps at this point. So you're banishing the water. Go get the right. Activate the right. Get your little Adventure Time token. Okay, then you're going to set the Fateful Adventure directly from deck. Okay, so now this is where you try to play around Nib. You're going to, as soon as it's set, you're going to activate Fate. Go and search your Omni Negate, Griffin Rider. Okay. Now we got to pitch one, so we're going to pitch one of the random cards that we drew. And now we can summon the Griffin Rider. Then we could chain the Fateful effect, because the Fateful secondary effect is whenever a monster is summoned to your side of the field or your opponent's side of the field, you can add a Adventure, Spell or Trap or whatever from your deck to your hand, I'm pretty sure. But this one, we're always just going to go get the Draco back. I could be wrong on the wording on Fateful, but right now I'm just saying Draco back because it's the only real option that we run at this time. So we add the Draco back. Okay, so now Draco back, what Draco back provides is a free discard off of anything. So now we're protected from Nib, okay? We're protected from Nib. So now we can combo freely if necessary. So now what we're going to do is we're going to start the rest of the shenanigans. So now what we need to do is we have our 6 established. We have our Beatrice established, which is going to get our access to our spell canceller. Now we need to get access to our Nib. So this is a 4, so we need access to a 6 tuner, or we need access to a 3 tuner. Without burning any more resources, we are just going to use the Zhongwu Grave, because Zhongwu's effect is you can banish it, summon a Virtual World from Grave by discarding a card. Okay. So now we're going to discard. You can discard the Draco back if you want to keep whatever's in hand, if you had another hand trap or something, or you can discard something else and keep the Draco back for the follow-up just in case if they have Cosmic, because people like to tend to have Cosmic in this format because of Runic and Mystic Mind stuff. So we're just going to pitch the random card that we started our beginning of our turn with and keep the Draco back in hand, because you always want to try to play around as much as possible, because this card definitely helps you break boards. Sorry if it's out of frame. I'll put it over here. This is our hand, though. I'm turning it sideways so you know it's in our hand. So now, this is here like this. Now you can synchro these two, 7 and a 3, to make the Baron de Fleur. Baron. Okay? So this is basically what you have. You have, in your graveyard, you have the 2 that you discard. You have 2 names, and you have your follow-up. You have Chuche if you need to, or you have King Wong, which if whatever you have in your hand, you could extend to do more than this. This is just the standard 2 cards where the 2 cards can get you. Now, what else this does is you have the follow-up engrave, and this is your banish pile, which means you have 2 cards banished, which means Chuche is live. Okay, so banish pile here, graveyard here. So now what we do is we'll pass turn. During their draw phase, we'll use Beatrice effect. Okay. Detach. And we'll send the spell canceller. When they go to standby phase, you'll use Baron's second effect to target the spell canceller. Which, remind you, it doesn't shuffle back for cost, which means if they try to negate it, you can negate whatever they're trying to negate with Baron, as long as it's not a droplet. If it's a droplet, and then don't send a monster, then yes, you can negate that. But now, standby phase, Baron effect, target the spell canceller, say they don't have nothing. Then you bring it back, and now their spells are locked. Which your spells are locked too, but you don't have to really worry about that, because you're going to synchro this off, because this, with its levels, opens your extra deck up too, because this plus one of your 3s, you can hard make Scarlet if you want to. So now they're locked out of spells. That is what the standard 2-card combo can get you. Just any 2-card combo. So it's basically any Virtual World name any two virtual world names. So like the one I've just showed you is like the god names, which is Lulu and Kowloon because it gets you Chuche. But there's some awkward situations where you don't have this immediately live. And what else is really nice too is you can side deck the Scythe, just one Scythe, instead of playing Spell Canceller against a deck that likes Scythe. You can make Spell Canceller Scythe instead, and because like you can, since this deck doesn't normal summon, you can hard summon this. So basically, you could indirectly, like if you're going first and you side deck the Scythe, you can hard draw this, or if you play the Small World package, you can search this, do the standard Scythe lock pack, like do the same combo, but tribute off something. So you can tribute off the adventure token if you didn't put the Draco back on there, of course. Make the spell canceller. Then during your opponent's turn, like we did with this, bring back Scythe, and then Scythe lock them too. What a lot of people don't know is Scythe, you can also use your Chuche to pop your own Scythe, and it will resolve Engrave, which means it plays around droplets, it plays around Imperm, because it forces droplets to send a trap in order to even stop your Chuche from activating. But that's another option that you have that you can use in your side deck if you go the small world route instead of the Desires route. But let's go ahead and move on to like a test hand, and I'll show you a test hand, and then that'll basically be it. I just want to mainly show you the main video, the main combo, because everything else after that just is like snowball effect. It just varies upon what you're going against, what you're worried about going against, and what you have in your hand. So, but let's go ahead and get this next combo, guys, / test hand. All right, here we are with the next test hand. I know this deck likes to brick, and I didn't really shuffle it up very much, so let's hope it doesn't brick us. If it does, then we'll just reshuffle and go from there. Let's go. All right, double Kowloon. That kind of sucks. So what we can do here, we can still get there. We can banish water. I don't know if we can get there, but I know we can get somewhere. Get water. Right, activate the right. Right's in graveyard. Water's banished. Get the adventure token. Where's the Fateful? The Fateful. There's the Fateful. Okay. Now you go Fateful. That's where you add the Draco back. Pitching the Strudo because you can activate it in Grave. It's a free extender. Chain Griffin Rider. Summon the Griffin Rider. Fateful effect. Add the Draco back. Now we're good. Okay. Now we can go Kowloon. Activate Kowloon. Get the Chuche. Get the Chuche. I'll put the hand over here and over here where you can see it. Now, very unoptimal play. Lao target the Chuche, send a card. Right here, we need to get into more names, so we're obviously going to send King Wong. Sadly, we can't resurrect nothing because we had nothing in grave at the time. So now, what we can do is banish the King Wong. You need to get access to Lulu because Lulu will get you more names. In this case, when it comes to pitching, I would not pitch the Draco back. I would pitch the extra Kowloon because you want to keep the Draco back, protect it from your whatchamacallit. I told you the cosmics and stuff. You always want to never really want to activate Draco back until you're going second because you always want to hold it. You don't want to leave it out there just to get banished because it's your main out to it's another out to Mystic Mine and main board breaker, one of your main board breakers. So now we need to access to more monsters, so we're going to use Lulu, target the trap. Sadly, we won't get the trap because we're going to do this kind of backwards and we kind of go -1, but it's just the way it is. Send a spell because we're going to need to add a monster, which is the opposite. So we're going to send another King Wong, which still provides us our follow-up, but we can still get there the way this is. So now, let me put this right here. Okay. Now what we're going to add off that is obviously the double Foolish and Lily, because Lily is a double Foolish and can still set us up pretty far. Now, what we can do is we need access to traps and grave. So what we can do is, let me see here. Use Lily, target your Lulu or your Lao Lao, either or. Now we need to send this trap. Normally, a lot of people would send Chuche to get the level manipulation. I'm going to send the Zhongwu just to have the extra extender to try to get into my board. Now what I'll do is then summon. I know it's out of frame, but it's over here to the left. Now, to get access to the combo still, we got our 2 6s. The 2 6s can make your Beatrice detaching the Lao Lao, because you want to access the Lao Lao. Since it's only one, you can potentially add it back. 2 dump. Don't forget, we still have access to our Destrudo in graveyard too. So now we're going to dump. Since we have access, this is where we can dump our Chuche, honestly, because we already have access to our Venture Engine, so this can still get us there, like I said before. Send the Chuche for the level manipulation if necessary, and a deck thin also. And this is just trying to get to the turn 1 board. Obviously, if you're going second, or if you know what you're playing against, and it doesn't really matter, things would play a factor differently. So you can be aware of that too. Now we have access to all of that. Our only card in hand is the Draco back. Let me see here. What would I do in this situation? All right, I know exactly what I'll do in this situation. Yep, I know exactly what I'll do in this situation. This actually turned out really gross. Synchro 10. Sorry for the delay, guys. I just wanted to make sure I took this board as far as I can get it. Remind you, this was a very unoptimal hand. Subpar at best. Baron. Now, you can call it overextending, yeah, but it's at the same time we have enough resources. So now what I'm going to do is, well, shoot. I think we might be capped out. I don't know. Let me see here. This, summon that. No, we're not capped out. Banish the Zhongwu from grave. Now our Chuche's live because we have two things in grave. Summon back the Lulu. Discard it because you have to discard off that too. Discard the Draco back. Draco back affecting grave will equip itself to the token. Now, what you can do is with our Destrudo, you can use Destrudo, target the adventure token, makes itself a 3, summon itself, and then overlay into our Gossip Shadow. So now we have 2 negates, or a non-negate and a monster negate. So off of that subpar hand, we provided ourselves with a follow-up in King Wong and Chuche. Long was still getting to our inboard through a bad hand. Yes, obviously, if they had hand traps, it would play a different role, but that's the case with any deck or any hand, basically, even with God hands. Hand traps obviously defer what's your true inboard, and would defer what we're actually ending on. But even with that hand, we were still able to get to this. Obviously, during their standby phase, you would send the spell canceller, Baron, target, bring back. Then eventually, next turn, if you can't kill them for some reason, you can make M7 to add this back. and then that's live again. And then you can just honestly keep looping it, because what's really crazy is like everything in this extra deck is loopable. What's crazy because like you can use this, shuffle back, bring back the spell canceller, make M7, add this back, synchro off whether it's anything. You can synchro a 3 and your spell canceller off into your Scarlet, and then this and a 3 to make your Baron again, and then guess what? You do it all over again. You spell cancel them again. It's really gross because in this deck you can lock your opponent out of everything that you don't want to be locked in. So like what I mean by that is you can lock your opponent out, and then when it comes back to your turn, you can synchro it away, make your bigger board OTK, or if you can't OTK, you close to OTK them, and then you just lock them again. It's really nasty. So like, yeah, it's really gross. But that's it for the combo, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was informative. I hope you learned something and took something from it. And if there's anything I left out or anything else you would like to see, just let me know in the comment section down below or in the Discord. I love talking to you guys. I love seeing y'all's pretty faces in my Discord or my comment section. I love you guys so much for it. But with that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. It's your boy Drip signing out until next time. I love you guys. Peace. Good dueling, my guys.